Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to present our paper, which is entitled The Socioeconomic Impact of COVID-19 on Informal Cross-Border Traders between the DRC and Rwanda. Our presentation will focus on a background, objective, the methodology, and then we'll discuss the result. So most of cross borders between the DRC and Congo work in informal and fast to poverty and vulnerability. The COVID-19 came to worst screen the precarity situation of small cross-border traders. Most of them are women, and as we found in the literature. So this due to the effort to integrate in the economy this kind of activity, in other words, to formalize them, these activities still bring to an issue or constraints. Some of those constraints are harassment of state agents, corruption, confusion between formal and informal activities, where when we see that these people involved in these activities do pay taxes. While it may be possible to eliminate those kind of constraints to formalize this trading, some may not be better incentives for trader in the informal sector to turn to formal activities. What was the objective of this paper? The objective of this paper is to explore the social vulnerability of small-scale economy actors involved in cross-border trader between the Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. Looking at the change between before COVID-19 and after COVID-19 to see whether the COVID-19 had an impact on these activities. In terms of methodology, the study covers 4 cross-border sites in Bukavu and Kamembe. Bukavu is in DRC and Kamembe is in Rwanda. Those borders are very closed. And another side was Goma, which is in DRC, and Gisenyi, which is in Republic of Rwanda. We do use a mixed method to analyze the impact of COVID-19 on these activities. So, data collected in 1990 by the PFCGL, which is an organization which is founded by the World Bank. They collected data before the COVID-19 on the vulnerability, and we do use that kind of data, and we do also collect data during the COVID-19 in October 2020 to see, and we use that kind of data to have a great comparison between these activities. So in terms of results, we found that the COVID-19, yet people was already in poverty, but the COVID-19 came to enforce people in poverty. As we can see, the average income show that they do have a small revenue. Most of them, around 71 of them are do consume less than $2 per day. When we look on the Laurent curve, I skip this statistic. When we do look on the Laurent curve, we see that yes, the difference between Rwanda and Congo is great, but people are under the line of poverty, but the poverty is more pronounced in DRC than in Congo, than in Rwanda, I'm sorry. This kind of figures allow us to make a conclusion that yes, people fast to poverty, but not in the same way. When I say people, it's people who are involved in trade border activities, which we saw that it is so informal. So another result, we found that these people involved in cross-border activities do fast to financial service problem. They don't have access to financial services. We can see that only 40% in DRC do have access to financial services, when only 37 in Rwandese has access to these services. In terms of taxation, they revealed that there is an excessive taxation in this kind of activity. And then people who are involved in these activities fast to the taxation issue. There is also a disruption during the cross-border. And this was the result found before the COVID-19, because with the COVID-19, they do close the border, and there is no a huge movement due to limit the spread of COVID-19. So with COVID-19, we saw that there is a decrease in terms of goods which was exchanged between Rwandese and Congolese. This brings people to fall in poverty, because this was their principal activity. So COVID-19 also brings prices to increase substantially. So one good which, an article which we could buy with $1, we saw that with COVID-19, it has actually the double of the price, which is a big issue. That to say that the COVID-19 do impact substantially these activities. So many vulnerable people who might live from cross-border activities such are now in unemployed. Others do experience the bankrupt because they don't have a way to cross border in order to continue their activity. One advantage we do have in this activity was that people actually do now need to buy in group, mean that they put money together and they can send to their customers who are in Rwanda or in DRC to have a group. But there are some issues which must be addressed. So the weakness of financial system, the policy and conscience in Rwanda, or either in Rwanda or in Congo, the problem of infrastructure, yes, more in Rwanda, in Congo than in Rwanda, there is a problem of bureaucracy, meaning that to have a service, you need to wait for longer. That big issues must be addressed. Thank you for listening.